Good morning, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the DSP Morning Show for Monday, the 2nd of March, 2026. Hooey, it's going to be a good day today, but it's going to be a challenging afternoon stream for me. Reason being, I'm continuing my Resident Evil Requiem playthrough here on the channel, while it's going to arguably be almost 90 degrees in my room. And once again, you might say, what on earth, why? Well, once again, for a few days here, we've had unseasonably warm weather in Washington State. It's not supposed to be this warm this time of year. It's going to be almost 60 degrees outside today, plus full sun. That means that this office will be roughly 20 to 30 degrees hotter. So as of now, I haven't even begun my work. It's 81 degrees in the office. And I have the ceiling fan and the oscillating tower fan both on maximum. And I have the door open, because my wife is at work, so I can actually aerate the room, and it's still 81 degrees. Hence why today you see me in a very old school t-shirt. This is actually the shirt that I had in my old merch store a decade ago. Yeah, it's actually one of the original pieces of merchandise that I ever sold on the internet. And so it is really worn out, actually. It's an old shirt, and the design is starting to fade, and the arms are all stretched out. And I'm like, well, I just wanted to toss something on quick. I already wore my Resident Evil shirt on Friday, and we'll just toss on an old shirt, right? So I'm going to do my absolute best today to play Resident Evil with you guys and not pass out from heat. Not to say that I would pass out. Obviously, if it was ever to that situation, I would just leave the room, right? I'm not going to put myself in a medical emergency here. But the funny part is, once again, someone might say, well, why don't you just put your air conditioner in the window then? Well, when you put it in, it's in for the season. It's a lot of work. You got to put in foam. You got to put in a ton of tape. You can't just put it in, take it out, put it in, take it out. It's too much work and too much mess. If I put it in for the season, then guess what? Tomorrow, when the temperatures are dipping 10 degrees and we have full rain outside, I'd have the air conditioner stuck in my window and I wouldn't be able to get air. That's the problem. Like tomorrow, I'm not kidding, it'll probably be low 70s in here. Beautiful. And that's the problem. So we're in this really weird in-between situation where it's just never like this. Like usually it'll get hot around here. I would say probably late March, early April at the earliest. It at least would hit spring before we have warmer weather. We've been having it for a month and a half. That's why half the time I'm not wearing winter attire, which I bought a whole bunch of and now I'm not wearing because it's too hot for it. So I feel like I'm in Florida. The only difference being there's no humidity, okay? By the way, Jasper Kitty is here. Jasper Kitty was here. He walked in and apparently walked right back out. So he's around. If he comes back in here, I'll probably try to get him on camera so you guys can see him. I know you guys love seeing Jasper Kitty when he's coming around the office here. Dark Ethan, good morning. Thanks for our first contribution of the stream, a $2 Canadian super chat, and good to see you. Let's see what the Canadian dollar is worth these days. It was up and down recently, so I'm not sure how to value this. Let's take a look. Okay, so $1.46. Thank you, Dark Ethan, for our first super chat of the day. Appreciate that. Okay. Supportive support with our first gifted sub of the day. Thank you, Supportive Support, for supporting over on Kick. That's nice of you. Thank you so much. So we're here very early today. For the record, it's only 11:19 a.m. Typically, I wouldn't even start this until after 11:30, but I just happen to have everything ready to go, and I'm like, I'm just going to sit around and do nothing. Let's get started. Let's hang out. So we're going to have a longer DSP morning show today, but there's no agenda. There's nothing to really talk about. Obviously, I want to tell you about DSP Tries It today. But outside of that, it's basically whatever you want to talk about, okay? So someone's asking me, do I have a merch shop? No, and I'm not planning on bringing one back. Here's the truth, okay? In all the years that I've been a creator, since day one, 18 years ago, I never expected that this would ever be my job. I never took myself ultra seriously, meaning I never thought that, like, people would like the content that I put out enough that they would want to buy merchandise of it and stuff. Like, never fathomed this in my head one moment, okay? And the fact that it all came to be is ridiculous to me, but at the same time, hey, it's my reality, and I live with it every day, you know? It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I've had merchandise 4 times in my career. The first time I had merchandise was very early on. I actually went to a website called cafepress.com, and I made an initial line of product. This is how the original Dark Side Phil shirt, remember they used to have the Dark Side Phil with a crown, and it's the shirt that you'll see me wearing in the Project 7 series from 2012. That's where that original line of product launched, and it was very silly. Of course, I didn't take it seriously. Dude, I had everything possible. I had Dark Side Phil underwear. I'm not kidding. I sold Dark Side Phil tighty whities on that website. Did I make a lot of money doing it? Absolutely not. It was more of a novelty or a joke. People who like my super fans back then who wanted merch, that was the way to get it, but I didn't really care, and I didn't really make any money doing it. Okay? Then there was a second line that I launched during the time when I was frequently playing fighting games with my friends. At that point, we were training in Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, in order to go to a tournament in Japan. And so we had a group, we called it Don't Blow This. And we would go over to my friend Howard's house, and we would stream from his actual arcade cabinet. And we had a merch line. Like, there was, you know, John Rambo had a shirt that said Rambo, and it was like Dalzim, his favorite character. Howard had a shirt with Balrog, his favorite character. I had a shirt. I don't even remember who was on my shirt. I actually forgot. I think it might have been Vega, but maybe not. Maybe it was DJ. I don't even remember. Okay? So that was the second merchandise line that we had at one point. Okay? Then, when Project 7 actually launched, which was supposed to be a web comedy series about games and stuff, it was just stupid, mess around, very, very low grade, not high quality. It was just meant to be dumb and funny. We launched a line of shirts in tandem with that show that were meant to be sold at conventions. Okay, we never actually sold them really fully online. It was more convention stuff. Then, years later, I would want to say probably around 2015, 2016, I'm not sure exactly, I was contacted by then Teespring. They said, hey, we see that, you know, you have a popular YouTube channel. You have a following. Would you like to sell merch? And I said, well, I haven't done anything since Cafe Press. I mean, that was so many years ago. I'm no. And they said, well, listen, here's the thing. We're going to do all the work for you, okay? We're going to design stuff. We're going to put up merch. We're going to design your store. We'll do it all for you. All you got to do is tell us, yes, you agree. Give us your information so you can pay you. And then every once in a while, you can just upload more designs, and we'll have our design team make the shirts and stuff for you. I said, okay, fine, if there's no work involved. And that's exactly what happened. They created the page, they designed it, they made all the initial merch, and it all went up. And that's where this shirt came from. So this was from the Teespring era of merch that I had. Now, I will admit, initially when I launched the Teespring merch, I made a little bit of money. Only a little bit. I'd say probably, not even lying, I think in the entire time I've ever sold merchandise, I've never made $1,000 total throughout all the years. I don't think I've even made $1,000. But I think I made a few $100s that time, like $300 to $500 during the initial Teespring launch. This shirt was actually the best seller. This design right here made the most money for me. It was either this color scheme or all red on black, okay? So at that point, I had a few different t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs and stuff like that I was selling. And that lasted a while. So here's what happened. Initial interest, everyone wants merch, so people rush to go buy it. And then immediately the interest falls off. So people say, well, why don't you get new designs? So I did. Fans would make designs. I would upload them. I would make my own designs and upload them. Nothing ever really sold. Eventually people complained, oh, you just need new designs. I said, all right, I'll pay a designer. And behind the scenes, I paid a designer a couple $100s to design a bunch of designs. I put them on. Not a single sale. Zero. Okay? So eventually, after a while, I just said, I just don't care anymore, right? I just don't care about this. And I just let the Teespring site fall into disrepair, okay? For the record, I did eventually close the Cafe Press site because apparently someone was trying to access it and kept trying to hit it with, you know how you do the password reset link? They kept doing that, and it kept getting frozen. And I was like, I'm not selling anything on Cafe Press. I'll just close the shop. And I eventually did. This Teespring shop was taken away from me against my will. Not to say that I was using it, because I wasn't, okay? But basically what happened was, in 2019, was it 2019? No, it was 2021, right? So my detractors / haters literally made a portfolio of bad things that DSP has said over the years. Most of it was actually from the early days of when I was a creator. So it was like racist jokes, sexist jokes, sexual comments, things like that I had said in like 2010. It was 2021. But they put it all together and they started going around sending this portfolio to all these different businesses which I had association with. So, for example, they send it to Twitch. They send it to YouTube. They send it to Teespring. They send it to the streaming services that I was using for pop-ups on my streams. They sent it to the processing service through which I was taking tips. Okay? It was 2021. We were within 1 year of COVID and the Black Lives Matter movement, and all of these corporations were going woke. So once they get this portfolio, they decide, well, we just don't want to do business with Darkside Phil anymore for all this stuff that he did in 2010, 11 years prior. Okay? Keep in mind, some of the businesses like Teespring recruited me. They reached out to me in like 2017. They made my merch page. They were maintaining it for me, and they were well aware of who I was and what I had done in the past. But it was only with this culture shift in 2020 and 2021 that they decided we don't want to associate. So they made the decision to associate, then years later, internally changed their minds, and they closed my page against my will. I didn't even know it was closed. I had no idea until someone told me. They said, are you aware your Teespring page is like a dead link? And I looked, I'm like, oh no, I had no idea. You know, I'm not using it. We didn't have any new merch on there for like a year. And then I contacted them and I found this out. And I'm like, you guys are so unprofessional and ridiculous. I would never work with you again. So that was a long time ago, right? And then during the Kino Casino arc, okay, which was fall 2024, there was once again a resurgence of interest in me. And people were like, hey, you know, maybe you should sell merch again. And I was, honestly, I wasn't really for it because I was like, I don't have stuff to sell. I'm not a graphic designer. You know what I mean? I don't really have much. I have like this logo here. That was a logo that someone had made for me years prior. And I said, oh, if I redesign my page to have the new logo and everything, maybe that could be the merch or whatever that I sell. And so once again, it wasn't me seeking it out. Someone contacted me when I was still doing content with Kino Casino, and they said, hey, I saw you on the casino. I liked what you're doing with those guys. Heard you talk about merch on one of your streams. I know a company that will work with you. They don't care about people harassing people on the internet whatsoever. They're totally cool. They're going to work with you no matter what. And I said, all right. And I started talks with that company. And basically the way that worked is, again, they set up the page. They created the merch, not me. All I had to do was send them the designs, and they would do all the work, and they would maintain the storefront and all of that. They would maintain the customer service. They would be mailing all the merch. I would just get a cut of the profits, okay? So again, immediately when that launched in 2024, that first month that it launched, I probably made a few $100s on merch sales, which was great. And then after that, it just completely petered off and no one cared again. So occasionally I would actually send that company a few designs, say, hey, here's some new art or whatever. Sometimes they would update the page. Sometimes they wouldn't even do it. And eventually when I contacted them and I was like, well, what gives? They were like, you're getting no sales. Like, no one even goes to the page. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm not a merch guy. I don't push merch on my streams. I don't have desire to push merch on my streams. I don't want to sell product. I want to stream and just hang out with people. So every once in a while, there's a slide for it or I'll bring it up. But I know we're probably never going to get significant sales unless there's a reason, right? And so basically they were like, well, it's not cost effective for us to maintain this page and keep paying for it every month when you're not going to use it. And I was like, you're right. And that was it. So the store got closed and that was the end of that. So at this point, I really don't care about merch. It's never been a big deal. Like, I feel like the people who sell merch, it's this simple. They're in it for the profits. They're not in it for the content or for loving what they do. They're in it because it's a business to them and all they want to do is print money. If you're just sitting here pushing merch every day, oh, the designs, the quality, the design. Dude, you're a fucking streamer. You're supposed to be entertaining your audience. You're supposed to be having a good time. And then if they like you, they'll reciprocate. Why are you selling merch like a fucking guy on QVC barking that your shirt is so good? No one gives a fuck about your shirt. You're a loser, right? That's my mentality. And that's the thing. Like, I just don't want to sit here selling content or selling merch all day. I just hate that mentality. And if anyone ever does, I hate it when you're watching a streamer or you're watching a creator and they're like, oh, now it's time for the paid product placement. Here's the product that I'm sponsored me today. Here's my referral link. Oh, here's my t-shirt line. And by the way, they're extremely fucking expensive for no fucking reason because I think that I'm more important than anyone else. So buy my fucking insanely expensive t-shirt. No one cares. Those are losers. Those are fucking life losers who are just there to shill to you. They're not there to make content for you. They don't care about the content they put out. They're rushing to get to the money part. See? So I don't care about that stuff. I don't think I ever will. I'd just rather make content for you guys, have a good time, and you reciprocate, and then we're good. All right? So that's why you don't see me with the product placements. You don't see me selling the merch and chilling it. The few times I've tried it, it never worked. It was always just frustrating because people would like it for a month, and then, what am I supposed to do? I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not going to sit here designing shirts for you constantly. That's not my job. I'm not going to pay someone to do that because that's not the content I want to put out there on the internet. I want to put out gaming content. I want to put out positive content, podcasting, vlogging, hanging out with you. That's what I aspire to do, not sell fucking shirts, right? Buckwell says, I would like a shirt that says I got banned by DSP, but Buckwell, that would make you a poser because you're not. You're in the chat right now. You're not banned. So why the hell would you want a shirt that says that? What's your problem? Anyway. Okay. So, there you go. Who's here today? We got Chammy Cho, Copium, Bavelines, JP Guides. Chris is here this morning. Rose Diamonds is here. Jaren, Bookworm, Frosted Shard, The Beast Slayer, Daniel, Quasar, Sneed Stauffenberg. Now that's an interesting name. Caliban, Rabid Doom. John is here this morning. How y'all doing on the YouTube side? On the Kick side, who do we got? We got Uncle Chill, Supportive Support, Ginger Hulk TV, Dark Side, Devin, The Morning Toker, Blockhead, username already taken, Rowdy Trotter, Spoons, Burnt Peanut Burnell. Now that's interesting. Should I rebrand myself as Burnt Peanut Burnell and just become a virtual avatar? Should I do that? I actually saw a post on X this morning. Keep in mind, I have never watched Burnt Peanut 1 second. I guess this guy is like, everyone's like, either they love him or they hate him. The post said, like, how did Burnt Peanut go from being like a nobody to like virally popular overnight? And someone's like, the answer is very simple: slurs and view botting. And I'm like, is it really that bad? Is it really that bad today that like people went back to the early era of content creation, like what I used to do, constantly talk about racial stuff, over the top sexual stuff, slurs, just trying to get a rise of attention from a very immature audience, and then they view bot to look like they're important, and then people watch them because of it? Is that really what it was? I don't know. I've never watched the guy a single second, so I don't know anything about him. So I don't know I don't know what kind of content he makes that he's appealing, but the way I see it, once again, it's another character, it's another dress up opportunity, right? It's another cartoon. The same thing that all these creators have done over the years. First, you overact to act like you're a cartoon. You're always going over the top acting. Then it became, well, now I'm actually going to try to make myself look like a cartoon. I'm going to dye my hair bright blue or purple. I'm going to dress in weird clothes to look. Then you got the Dr. Disrespect era. I'm going to dress up like I'm a bootleg G.I. Joe figure, and I'm going to talk stupidly on stream, again, to act like a cartoon character to appeal to an immature audience, right? But now we've gone full on. I'm not even going to show myself. I'm just going to be a fucking peanut. I'm literally just going to be a peanut on camera. I am a cartoon. It's no longer I'm going to overact like a cartoon. You are a cartoon. You're broadcasting a cartoon every day to immature children on the internet, and you're banking off of it. That's become what the new popular is, apparently. I guess, right? So there you go. There's no bitterness. I don't know anything about Burnt Peanut. I don't know anything about them whatsoever. I'm responding to the person whose name is Burnt Peanut Burnell in the chat. If the guy's popular, he must have tapped into something that works. I've actually heard that a lot of other creators are jealous of the guy and or they're salty, you know, which is hilarious because the guy's name is Peanut and people are salty about him. I don't give a shit. I'm happy. I'm happy with who I am and what I'm doing. I don't give a shit about other people and their success or failures. I just don't care. I'm here to do my own thing. Does he? Brain X Pill says Burnt Peanut puts an insane amount of work into his streams. Good for him then. Good for him. What should I be? Should I become a virtual care? What should I be? Everyone says I'm the cockroach that won't die. I'll be a cockroach. I'll be a 3D cockroach dancing around. I know. You ever seen the movie Joe's Apartment? I could be a real-life cockroach dancing around here with my voice on it. There you go. That's perfect. I would do that. Why not? A lion? I'd be a lion. There you go. Someone just said that. I didn't say that. Haha. Rabbit Doom says if you put on blackface, you'd be a 1-to-1 LTG. No, sadly, that would I could never be LTG because I could never be that fucking retarded. You understand? Like, just the stuff that we talk about, the intelligence level, the fact that I cover topics, I don't sit and fucking look at Sora AI all day, and I can play games at a competent level. I could never be that fucking brain dead. Even if I acted like it, I couldn't do it. I couldn't pull it off. What's up, King Michael? Good morning. How are you? What's up, everybody? That's so funny. So this person says, lol, you can't even put sauce in a box for dipping properly. Except I did. But you don't know that because you only watched the detractor clip. The first part, I was like, oh, does it go in like this? This doesn't make sense because if you flip it, it falls out. And then I said, oh, no, this is how you do it. And then I did it the right way. They cut out the second half. Because that way it makes me look bad. But you're an idiot and you only watch the clip. You're a fucking dunce who doesn't watch the content. And you just exposed yourself for being an idiot. So you know what? I'm not even going to allow you to speak. I'm just going to ban you. What's up, Game Boy? How's it going, man? Oh, okay. So, after the morning show, we get started with Resident Evil Requiem. I'm hoping to get over 3 hours of Resident Evil Requiem in today. Okay? Again, I don't know how long this game is. I don't know how far in we are. But once again, we're playing with Grace, if you can believe it. I don't know how long the segment is, but we're sneaking around again in the dark, and we're trying to do stuff with Grace, all right? We'll see how far we get today. Now, today is also DSP Tries It, the Big Arch Burger from McDonald's. However, I go one step further. I'm not just going to review just the Big Arch and say, here's the burger, here's the taste test. All right, I'm going to get this, the Big Mac, and I'm going to get the Quarter Pounder with cheese. And we're going to do a direct comparison of all three burgers to tell you what actually is the best burger that you can get at McDonald's right now. All right? So we're going to do all three compared, which has the most meat. Is the patty the same between this one and this one? Which has the best flavor? We're going to do a triple taste test live of the three big burgers that you can get at McDonald's right now to determine the best one. So it's not just the Big Arch, but it's a triple head-to-head taste test. There you go. Eagles Man says the first half of the game is basically all Grace and Leon is the second half. That's terrible pacing. They should have alternated, in my opinion. I still like the game. It is scary. It's challenging. It's what you would want from a survival horror game. But I do have the right to criticize, and I think that they should have alternated more. The fact that I'm 8 hours in and we've only played with Leon 30 minutes is lame. And also, I did criticize yesterday when the little time we played with Leon. What the fuck is this song? It's supposed to be dark, ominous music. That's what it played. So I thumbed it down. I got it out of the fucking playlist. So yesterday when I was playing with Leon, I didn't like what I was seeing because here's what happened. So you get to play as Leon, and then all of a sudden, they change the rules. You think, oh, I'm Leon. I have this melee weapon. I have a gun. Now I can just shoot things and slash them. It's going to be fun. No. They immediately changed the rules. Oh, now you're fighting blisterhead zombies. The only way to kill blisterheads is by shooting them 3 times in the face, then meleeing them, then executing them. If you don't do that exact sequence, they don't ever die. I want you to think how stupid that sounds. I stood there. I literally had the axe. I hit one of them. I counted 40 some times. The zombie didn't die. It didn't even get hurt. Basically, they're immune to melee attacks for no reason. If you shoot them in the limbs, it also doesn't do anything. You have to shoot them in their swollen head 3 times, then do a melee attack, then hit with the axe, or they don't die. So it's a stupid puzzle. I don't like that. Because in previous Resident Evil games, sure, there's easier ways to kill zombies, right? In early Resident Evil games, you hit them with melee, they go down, and then you can do like a attack and you kill them, right? Or you shoot them in the leg, they go down, then you can melee attack them in the head. But you could also just shoot them. Like, they have an energy bar, and the more you shoot them, their health goes down till they just die anyway. Now, it might be not effective to do it that way, but you could do it, right? In this game, you can't do that. It's a puzzle. Solve the puzzle, how to kill this type of enemy. Well, what if I don't want to kill them that way? Too bad. That's the only way you can kill the enemy. I don't like that. And I have the right to criticize that. I guess some people are mad that I'm criticizing the game. Again, I like it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's the best game ever if I don't think it is. And I think that this is a few missteps that they've made. The pacing absolutely should have been better. You shouldn't have 7.5 hours of Grace, 30 minutes of Leon in the first 8 hours. I think that's terribly balanced. And the Leon gameplay shouldn't be based on a sequence to kill an enemy, only that way to kill them. That's stupid. You should be able to kill them other ways, and you can't. So I don't like that. Okay? Let's see here. That's true, too. BattleDuck says, I think more annoying is the inability to shoot down to enemies that are scripted to get up. So this happened twice yesterday. First, I was Grace. And the zombies started to mutate. If you don't know what that means, there's certain zombies that will get up and their heads swell and they become kind of like the old Crimson heads from the original Resident Evil. So it's the same concept. They're like superpowered now. So if you know that an enemy is a Crimson head, or in this case, they call them blister heads. If you know they're going to be a blister head and you see them on the ground, you could pull out your gun and literally unload your entire clip into that enemy. And then as soon as you walk up, they still get up and turn into a blister head. Then when they're standing up, if you shoot them, they die. So they're invincible when on the ground. That is insanely fucking dumb. That's bad game design. That's cheesy bullshit. If you know they're going to become that enemy, you should be able to kill them first. Now, okay, maybe it's cheap to do that, but you already went through the jump scare in order to know that they're going to become the blister head. So you've already been scared, and that's the purpose of the game. So why not let you kill the zombie now? It's bad game design. I don't know why it's like that either. That's stupid. Rich, the Big Arch is available here and has been here for weeks. The Big Arch nationwide launches tomorrow, but it's available here, and it's been available in many markets early. It's basically, if you live in like a major city, McDonald's already has the Big Arch. If you don't, then it's available tomorrow. So it's already here, and I'm already good to go for today. That is true. There is a big arch on my forehead. Actually, it's not really an arch. It's more like it's like a smile on my forehead. There you go. Yeah, the UK has had it. The UK has had the big arch for ages. We are just getting it here in the United States right now. Most Toll says, sorry, you're just supposed to praise and defend and shill every shitty game that comes out these days, especially cult classic horror series that all the Redditors love. Of course. How dare I criticize? And again, there's some people that are so infantile in their thinking. They think that because I criticize the game that I don't like it. Or that because I criticize it, it means I hate it. That's not true. I can be enjoying a game a lot, but still have valid criticisms. And I think that I've had a few valid criticisms of Resident Evil Requiem that would have improved the game, that would have made it even better. I'm actually shocked at a few of the decisions that they make. The pacing and balance doesn't exist in the early game. That's ridiculous. The scripted nonsense is ridiculous. Like, I feel like they took away your freedom, because in previous Resident Evils, you had freedom to decide how you wanted to defeat an enemy or get past a situation. And in this game, they're like, no, this is just how you do it. Well, I don't like that. I want freedom. And they're taking away your freedom. You can't kill the enemy when they're on the ground. If they're going to get up and transform and there's a scripted thing, they're invincible. That's stupid. You have to shoot them in the head 3 times, melee, and then finisher, or they don't die. That's stupid. Let me do what I want. Let me play the game how I see fit to survive. That's the essence of survival horror. Do I think it's better than Resident Evil 8 so far? I will say this. It's a better Resident Evil game than Resident Evil 8 so far. Resident Evil 8 didn't feel like Resident Evil. It was a good horror game. It was a good survival game. But it just didn't feel like Resident Evil. When you're fighting vampires, freaking werewolves, giant ghost babies, right? Mermen. What the fuck is this? I thought I'm playing Resident Evil. Where are the zombies? You know? At least in this game, you're fighting the fucking zombies finally. It makes more sense. It feels like it's more in line with the Resident Evil plot, and I do like that about it. What's my criticism of Dragon Quest? You mean Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined? The one criticism I have, the pacing. You should have been able to change your job system way early on. It took 20 hours of gameplay for me to be able to change my job system in Dragon Quest 7. I literally played for 10 hours, and all of the job points I earned were a complete waste of time because the job was already maxed. That's stupid. They should have known easily that the job system should be available earlier, or at least make the jobs have different abilities or something. They could have done a million things. Instead, they just had you sit there and have your combat be worthless for 10 hours. That's stupid. Can I name the things I like about Resident Evil 9 the most? Oh, sure. Let's see. Number one, the graphics are outstanding, right? I don't think I have a single complaint about the graphics. I think they're really good this time around. The atmosphere is way more in line with classic Resident Evil. The fact that there is an ominous threat and you don't know what it is. The zombies are back and there's variations on zombies. I definitely like that. Let's see. And I would say, here's the thing. I like the idea of resource management being a thing again. I like the idea of the puzzles being a key aspect again. Even not to say that they weren't previous, but now it does feel more like classic Resident Evil as you play it. And the items that are being dropped are way more scarce and rare. It's not like, oh, kill an enemy, ammo, kill an enemy, green herb, kill an enemy, more, you know, and then you have fucking crazy inventory. It's not like that, which is good. It makes it more feel like the older aspects of survival horror mean something more again. You know what I'm saying? I would say those are my top 3. The graphics, the atmosphere being more like classic Resident Evil, and the gameplay elements being more like classic survival horror again. It feels more like a throwback and a tie to the old games than 7 and 8 did. Again, 7 and 8 were good games, but this feels like, hey, let's get back to Resident Evil again. I'm glad to hear that. MVL Roy says he's 9 hours into the game and he's watching my gameplay on demand after, you know, he does those segments. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. Great. Oh, let's see here. Oops. What was that? Someone tipped $1 and said, despite looking older than ever, that's hilarious. Yeah, this is obviously a jab. You're looking older than ever. Well, I am older than ever. That's how time works. You understand? As you get older, you don't look younger. That doesn't happen. You either stay looking the same or you look older. There's no way to go backwards in time. For the record here, let's be clear, okay? Anyway, they're saying, you seem to be taking it well, and you're being wise about aging gracefully. A picture of LTG taken at a convention has exposed him as someone who uses filters to look younger. What wisdom can you share about being comfortable in your own skin? It's this simple, all right? It's very simple. If you accept reality, all right, which is you're going to get older, you're going to look different, things will not be as they were when you were in your youth, okay? The moment that you accept that, it just becomes easy, okay? For me, think of it this way. I'm happily married, so I'm not trying to go out there looking like some kind of a freaking Adonis and trying to show off for the women and be like, oh, look at me. I don't need to. I'm happily married. Now, by the way, that doesn't mean I let myself go. You notice I'm looking slimmer. I'm looking buffer than I have since I started as a YouTuber. This is actually the best physical shape I've been in since my early 20s. I'm 175 pounds. Okay? Crazy. I never thought I never thought I would get here. Once I got fat, I never thought I would get back to how I used to be, and I have. Okay? But I don't need to show off. I'm not doing it to say, hey, look, I'm young again and I'm strong again and look how much I can lift. Here, I'm going to record my workouts and share them with you. I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that at all. I don't care. I'm doing it for my own health so that I can be there to spend time with my wife as long as I possibly can and have a good life with her. That's why I'm doing the workouts. That's why I'm trying, I'm not doing it to look like a young guy. Oh, look at me. Oh, let me flex on stream every day. I don't need to. Okay? Now, in regards to how I look, I've asked my wife, what do you think? Do you think that I should change my beard? Should I dye my beard? Should I grow my beard out all the way? What do you think about my hair? And she just tells me the same answer. I like you how you are. I don't want you to change. You can if you want. Like she's outright told me, listen, if you get tired of how you look, or if you think that you could look better on a stream if you dyed your beard, if you did this, if you did that, then go for it. But I like you how you are, and I would be not sad, but she would be not even disappointed. What's the word? Like, obviously she would accept it, but she wouldn't be as happy with how I looked if I changed how I looked. That's what she's told me, okay? So, since that's the case, hey, just be you, right? Don't need to get hair club for men because my hairline is receding here. Don't need to dye my beard. Don't need to do any of that shit. I'm good. And in fact, I'm feeling better right now than I have in a very long time. I'm feeling very happy and healthy. I'm sore because I'm working out, but I'm happy and I'm healthy, and that's what's important, Like last night, I once again hit a new record for sit-ups. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this much exercise and I'm able to pull it off at my age. Never did I thought I'd be almost 44 years old and I'm doing this much exercise and it's working, it's going. I'm like, wow, it's excellent. And now I'm sore as shit. My back is killing me. My stomach is killing me because I did so many last night. But it's working out. Like I said, I am 175 pounds. My torso is like a freaking rock. I'm like, damn, this is awesome. So good stuff all around there. All right. But that's the thing. Guy like LTG and others, they're having midlife crises. To them, the reason that they need to exude this youth is because they can't accept the fact that they're getting older. They can't accept the fact that things change. Things will sag. Things will get wrinkly. Your hair will change color. Yes, I'm really sure that LTG doesn't have a single gray hair anywhere on his head at his age of 40 years old. Right. I'm sure that he had never got a gray hair in his life, right? We all believe that. It's totally all legit. Yeah, right. There's not a single male on fucking earth who doesn't have a gray hair at the age of 40. Not one. They all have it. Okay? So you don't have to fake it if you've accepted who you are and you're okay with yourself. Okay? It's that simple. I'm not trying to impress anyone here. Anyone at all. I just want to be healthy. Let's see here. Huh? I got a $3 tip, but someone phrased it. First of all, they're talking about a Wings restreamer. I know nothing about this. And you worded it wrong, so I don't know what you're saying. I'll just read what they said. Are you aware a Wings restreamer got taken today relatively quickly? What do you mean? They got kidnapped? So they were restreaming Wings and someone broke into their house and put a bag over their head and kidnapped them? Live on stream? Damn. Things are getting pretty fucking serious, huh? Holy shit. I'm not kidding. That's what the message says. But then it continues and it says, what are your thoughts on this? Well, that's terrifying. Hopefully they can find him. And do you plan on doing a Pokemon FR and LG playthrough in the near future? So FR is Fire Red and LG is Leaf Green. Yes, I probably eventually will play one of them. There has been interest in my fan base and viewership to play classic Pokemon. So I do feel like one day I will. It's not going to probably be anytime soon. All right. But we'll see. Now, actually, I have a follow-up to what we talked about yesterday. Okay? So here's a weird thing. Yesterday, during the podcast, I reacted to a bunch of trailers that released for 3 Pokemon games. The first game was Pokemon Winds and Waves. The second was Pokemon Coliseum. And the third was Pokemon Pocopia. Pokemon Pocopia releases this Thursday, right? And the trailer itself basically featured a female narrator who talked like a mother talking to an infant. The way she presented the game was like it's for small children, okay? That's exactly how the game is presented. And then when they're showing the content of the game, I thought it was going to be Pokemon plus Animal Crossing, but it looks way more like Pokemon plus Dragon Quest Builders. And I don't want to play Dragon Quest Builders again. I played Dragon Quest Builders 2, and hi Jasper, how you doing? And I felt Dragon Quest Builders 2 was too grindy, too lengthy, didn't focus on enough stuff that was interesting, and it was a big time waster. I'm not saying it was a bad game, I'm just saying they should have paced it better and had more interesting content along the way, and they didn't. So, if Pokemon Pocopia is essentially Dragon Quest Builders with a Pokemon facelift, then I'm not interested in it. So I went from being very interested in this game to watching the trailer yesterday, and I got completely turned off. I'm like, I'm probably not going to play it. And it seemed like most of the streaming audience agreed with me, right? So anyway, guess what? The reviews for Pokemon Pocopia were released today. You ready for this? 8 to 10. Every outlet either gave it an 8, 9, or 10. I think GameSpot was an 8. IGN was a 9. And I'm looking at these reviews and I'm like, did I fucking see a different trailer? What in that game that was shown during the trailer, is it like an 8 to 9 or 10 out of 10? I'm just scratching my fucking head like, what? So, does anyone even know? I didn't read the reviews, but I'm shocked that it's reviewed that highly, you know? The thing is, I think we're going to probably skip it, or here's what we're going to do. This week, my focus is Resident Evil Requiem, all right? I want to play through it this week, and I want to try to beat it by the end of the week. Of course, Friday is my marathon, my classics retro marathon, where we're doing all Nintendo games in a cool marathon setting. It's going to be very fun. So I have today, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday to try to finish Resident Evil Requiem, okay? Pocopia comes out Thursday. Well, I say let's just focus on Resident Evil. Now, let's say the game releases on Thursday, and it does really well. Everyone's playing it and saying, oh my god, this game is simply amazing, you must play it. Then I'd be okay with getting it and playing it, because that was the plan to begin with. But I'm shocked that we watched that trailer yesterday. It looks like a game for toddlers. And then now the reviews come out today and everyone's like, oh, 10 out of 10, stellar game. Huh? You know what I mean? Like, it's like the marketing completely contradicts the reviews. So, what am I missing? I want to know what the hell I'm missing. Does anyone know? Rose Diamonds, I've heard of Nuzlocke. Is it Nuzlocke or Nuzlocke? I've heard of this before. So isn't that you play the game in a certain way that you're locked into playing it with certain Pokemon for the entirety of the game, and it makes the playthrough very challenging? Like, I wouldn't be opposed to doing that, but if I were to play Fire Red or Leaf Green, I'd probably just want to play them straight. The only classic Pokemon I ever played was Classic Blue. I never played Fire Red, Leaf Green, any of these other versions. I never even played the original Pokemon in color. So I think I would like to do a straight, normal playthrough of it first, and then maybe down the line, if we wanted to do something like that, we could. Does that make sense? Where is the Yoshi Lego? It's March. Every month I swap out my background. So the Yoshi Lego is in storage. I brought back out the Piranha Plant Lego. And I also brought out this cool new 3D hand that's holding my retro SNES 8-bit Do controller. But the Yoshi Lego will likely come back at some point during the year again. Jade, how are you? Good to see you, Jade. How you doing today, man? So, Nuzlocke means you can only catch one Pokemon per area. If one faints, it dies and you can't use it again. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I wonder what area entails. Right? Like, what constitutes an actual area? Since it's so nice outside, why not do an outdoor stream today? Well, you may not realize this, but I live on reality where you can't bring expensive PCs, monitors, and equipment outside in the sun. It damages it. You wouldn't be able to stream from out there. It would be fried. What a stupid thing to say. No, I'm not getting fries from McDonald's. I have no desire. I'm doing a 3-burger taste test. I don't think I need fries, right? I'm also not getting soda. I'll be drinking water. Yes, Crimson Desert is in my games lineup for this month. Absolutely. No, I have not seen the new Superman movie. I don't have Max, so I'm probably not seeing it anytime soon. Blind, I did not take RTU's advice on mic placement. I always knew that this type of microphone is supposed to be positioned like this, but my old setup didn't let me do it. My old setup, I had a laptop in front of me here on a laptop desk. I had a bootleg piece of shit desk sitting over here, okay, that I could barely even attach the microphone to. The only way to get the microphone in position was to have it hanging from above, which is still a viable way to have a microphone. But you're right, when you talk down into this style of mic, it works a little better. And by the way, for the record, the real reason it sounds better is because I bought the Roland Bridgecast and I'm using software to edit how the microphone sounds. It's actually not the positioning whatsoever. If I put it up here like this, which is how it used to be, it still sounds exactly the same. You notice that? This is exactly how it used to be. And now I put it back down and it sounds exactly the same. There's no difference. It's not the positioning, it's the software and the Roland Bridgecast that's doing it. So there you go. But it was just viability. Like, people kept bothering me saying, hey, your mic's in the wrong position. It's like, yeah, I know. What would you like me to do? I can't make the mic be in the right position with the old shitty setup I had. Now I actually have a real desk on which I can attach the mic arm properly. I have monitors on monitor arms that I can move around, and now I can get the mic in proper position, whether I'm doing a podcast or I'm doing a chill hangout session like I'm doing with you right now, or whether I'm gaming over here. I can move the mic position to the right spot, and it sounds good no matter where I am now. That's good, right? That's an improvement that I've done. But, you know, people bothering me about it, saying, oh, you're doing it wrong. Like, yeah, I fucking know I'm doing it wrong. I can't do it right. I don't have the means to do it right, so stop bothering me. The funny part is, I did it, okay, that way for a year, and no one really cared. Like, the audio was good when I did it for that year. No one really gave a shit that the mic wasn't in the proper position, right? I think in general it sounded pretty good, and it wasn't a big deal. Jade, hopefully we get back to Leon. I know. We've been playing with freaking Grace for 7.5 hours. Hopefully we'll get to a good section with Leon now. Yes, I was shocked at how good Carl's Jr. was when I tried it. I was. I had never had it except for when I first moved here in 2014. I tried it and it was atrocious. And I hadn't even known that they had opened up a Carl's Jr. near me because I never seen it. I've never driven by it or anything, so I didn't even know it existed. And that burger I tried legit was a good value, had good flavor. I mean, it was insanely unhealthy, but I was shocked that it was actually that good. I would probably like to try them again, but try their standard menu because that burger I think was new. I think I'd like to try some of their standard menu stuff. In fact, after today, we got to figure out what on earth we're doing next week for DSP Tries It because I don't even know what we want to do. I'm not really even, having any ideas besides Papa John's, which people don't seem too keen on. Jaron Church just did a $20 super chat, and he says, Pokemon Fire Red. Thank you to Jaron for a $20 contribution. I appreciate that very much. So I assume that means you like Pokemon Fire Red. I think it's just, is it just the starter Pokemon that's the difference? Because I remember when I got Pokemon Blue, it was Squirtle was your starter Pokemon, right? And I never owned any other versions of original Pokemon, so I didn't really know the differences. I never got Yellow, I never got any of them. Well, now that we have some good attendance building up, I'd like to say welcome everyone to the stream. This is the DSP Morning Show, although it just hit afternoon. We'll probably hang out for about another 20 minutes or so, and then we will get started with around 3.5 hours of Resident Evil 9 Requiem on today's afternoon stream. If you're here and you have a good time today, I would urge you to please support the content in some way. One of the ways you can support it is by liking the stream right now. If you've been enjoying this morning show and hanging out and you're having a good time, if you're on YouTube, please give it a like. The likes are helping engagement a ton. My streams are showing up in the algorithm. People are finding the content. The views are up. If the engagement's up, it helps all that. So please like the stream. Now, if you want to go above and beyond, like Jaron just did, there's many ways that you can support the content. If you're on YouTube, you can do a super chat. You can become a member of the channel, which will earn you a whole bunch of emotes and a cool chat crown badge. Or you can gift some memberships to your fellow viewer. It would be nice to do that. We haven't had any of those yet today. On the kick side, you could send me some kicks, or you could become a paid subscriber and, again, unlock emotes and the crown, or you could give some subs to your fellow viewer as well. Something that I haven't mentioned in a very long time, there are limited time badges that are available on the kick side. If you gift 10 subs, I'll give you the VIP badge, which is a special badge that sits next to your name permanently in chat. If you gift 20 subs, I'll give you the OG badge, which is another permanent unlock, and it's incredibly rare because almost no one does that much support, okay? That's available. That's been available for a long time. I just haven't really talked about it. Now, if you're not interested in either the YouTube or Kick side of stuff, but you still want to support the content, you could send a tip via PayPal. And that's just a third-party thing. You can find the link to my tips in the description of the stream, no matter where you're watching, or you can type the !tip in chat. So !TIP, it'll bring up the command. You click on that, and you'll be able to go ahead and support via PayPal if you'd like to do that. And no matter how you contribute, I will give you a big shout out. Okay? There you go. Thank you guys. The starters are the same. They didn't include any of the yellow changes in Fire Red or Leaf Green. Pretty much the only one they incorporated the third version changes is Heart Gold, Soul Silver. So what is Fire Red and Leaf Green then? What's the difference? Because like I said, I played Pokemon Blue. So what is the actual difference then? Version exclusives in the wild are the main difference. So you're saying in the wild, there'll be some different Pokemon depending on which version you bought? No, I never played any remakes of Pokemon 1. The only one I played Pokemon Blue, the original on Game Boy Pocket. That's it. I never played anything else until like I was a YouTuber. So I missed over a decade of Pokemon. I don't know anything about these remakes or anything. Thank you to the Random Act for $10. Thanks for sending a disgusting, filthy, creepy, festering zombie my way. Appreciate that. So the bomb says they incorporated the third generation mechanics and changes into Fire Red and Leaf Green. Pokemon have passive abilities. The special stat is split into special attack, special defense. Oh, I didn't know any of that. Okay. I had no clue. Lalafell says, yeah, for example, Scyther is exclusive to Pokemon Red. Got it. It was the Game Boy Advance re-release color update. End of the day, it's all emulation. Oh, so I didn't even know that. So it's not the original Game Boy version. It's the Game Boy Advance version. Oh, this is all news to me. There's also new post-game content with Sevi Islands that have Generation 2 Pokemon on them. Oh, okay. So you know what this reminds me of then? When they took the original Final Fantasy games and then they put them out on Game Boy Advance, or if it was the DS, I can't remember. Like Final Fantasy IV, it was the main game with way improved graphics, better music, and then there was all this optional like content, like post-game dungeons and stuff that was added extra that made the game better. So maybe that's kind of what it is then. Okay, got it. That's cool then. If that's the case, see, I only owned original Pokemon Blue. So I think, I mean, is it worth $20? Yeah, I guess for one. I wouldn't buy both. That's stupid. But maybe just buying one to play the original Pokemon game again with some improvements would be pretty cool. Oh, we tried Project Zomboid. It didn't work. I had no idea what was going on in the game. I couldn't even read the menus because the text is microscopic in the game. And no one in chat could sufficiently explain to me how to play it, so I said screw it, and we never played it again. We only did it for like 30 minutes, and it was boring as shit. I feel like there are some games that, like, the only way that you can ever really enjoy them is to sit down with an audience who knows the game to explain it to you, like with RimWorld, right? RimWorld is such a complicated game that if the audience didn't sit down and say, hey, stream it and we'll help you with it, and then they explained it to me piece by piece, then it becomes enjoyable. But people said, hey, play Project Zomboid in the Halloween Marathon, and I did, and it didn't work because how am I going to learn that game on the fly when I'm only going to play a half an hour to an hour anyway? It just didn't work, you know? I don't think I would want to go play Project Zomboid either. Like, we already got RimWorld. I think we have more than enough ancient games right now in the rotation like that. The Random Act did another $10 super chat and says, start pairing with the hatchet. It's so satisfying. Maybe we will, but we have to actually play with Leon. This is the point I'm making. We're 8 hours into the game. We've only played with Leon for 30 minutes. And the first two segments were 5 minutes each where you didn't ever need to parry because they were piss easy. And the third segment was 20 minutes where you went through the mansion that was empty because I killed everything with Grace. And then you have to fight a few blister heads and then that's it. It's over. I was like, what the hell? So I hope today we will actually get to a real Leon segment and then maybe I'll actually start learning his mechanics for real. Okay? So, Nuzlocke is one Pokemon per route. It has to be the first one that pops up. For example, if a Pidgey pops up on Route 1, that's your Pokemon for that route. Now, do you keep the Pokemon permanently until they die and you can use those Pokemon for the rest of the game? Or are you saying you can only use one Pokemon? That's insane. How could one Pokemon beat everything? How is that even possible? Because you're going to end up with a Pokemon that has all your weaknesses and you're not effective against it. How could you win? That I'm confused at. You can't keep the Pokemon until it dies. You get another Pokemon for every route. Okay, so you can alternate through the Pokemon. Got it. Okay. You're not just stuck with that one as the only one you use. All right, the random act with another $10 super chat says you can lean with grace when close to the edge of cover, aim, and she leans out. Okay. I don't think I've used that yet. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Right now, we're in the basement. It's so dark that leaning out, you can't see shit anyway. So, but maybe I'll try it. Thank you for $10. Okay, I'm going to be honest. Let's be honest here, because people are criticizing now in chat. They're like, oh, it's not about the joy of learning how to play the game yourself. It's about being told how to do it. Okay, here's what I want you to think. It's your first day on the job. You'll walk into the assembly room, okay, and they show you a metal press. So there's two situations. Situation number one, your new boss says, okay, I'm going to teach you how to use this metal press to do your job. Here's how you do it. Step one, you release the clamp like this. Right? Step two, you get the piece of metal, the raw metal, you put it in. Step three, you put the clamp down like this. Step four, you push the button. Step five, right? Okay. All right, you see what happened? So now the product's done. That's how you do it. Let's see you do it one more time. Okay, sure. You do it like, oh, no, you forgot the step. Okay, thank you. Thanks for reminding me. Now let me learn how to do it right. You do it, okay. So then you learn how to do it. And then your boss says, all right, I showed you how to do it. You learned how to do it. Have a good day. Be productive. Okay, sure. Right? So that's scenario number one. Scenario number two, it's your first day on the job. You walk into the assembly area. Your boss walks you over to the machine, the press machine. He says, okay, have a good day. And he just walks away. And you're staring at the machine like, the fuck is this? What? Huh? How do I do it? Is there any instructions? Nope, there's nothing. Okay, I guess I'll just flub it. So you put your first piece of metal in. You did it completely wrong. You fucked it all up. All right, throw that to the side. Start over. You get your second piece of metal. You put, fuck, I fucked up again. You put it in. So 7 hours later, through arduous trial and error, you finally figured out how to do it properly, or did you? You did get the end product to work, but it was such a chore to do. Maybe you're not even doing it efficiently, but at least you got it done. But it took you 7 hours to figure out how to do it yourself. Oh, by the way, you wasted 7 hours of time that should have been productive, and you should have been putting out product. Do you see the difference? I'm a streamer, okay? A streamer is supposed to be interacting and entertaining you, not sitting there fucking about trying to figure out how to do something because the game doesn't explain it. So it's much better for me to have an interactive stream with you where you could say, hey, so we know what this game is. Let's explain the basics. Then you'll learn them on the fly, and then we could get going with a serious run and have fun. So you could do that for like a stream or two. I learn, and then we have fun together. Or I fuck about for 7 streams where I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm failing. I'm miserable. I'm messed up. Haha. So who does that cater to? Morons and trolls who just want to see the streamer suffer, not make good content, not have a good social interactive time, but instead we just want to see them fail miserably so we can clip farm it. You see the difference? It's called being intelligent versus being a fucking idiot. I'm not a fucking idiot anymore, that's for sure. I don't clip farm for these idiots. So I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to interact with my audience, have a good time, and make good content in the process. I'm not going to listen to idiots who just demand everything. It's like the same idiots who say, well, anytime you play a game, play it on the hardest difficulty the first time. Well, I don't even know the gameplay mechanics yet. Too bad. Just play it on the hardest difficulty because we want to see you fail and suffer and be miserable. No, fuck you. This isn't the torture stream to torture the streamer. This is the stream where I make entertainment content for people who are nice people. People who are not sociopaths, who want to see people suffer and have pain. There's a place for that. You want to know what it's called? LolCow Live. You could go to LolCow Live and see people torture themselves, publicly humiliate themselves, do horrible rituals to themselves. And then if you like that content, you could support it. That's not what DSP Gaming is. There's a place for that. It ain't this channel. What's up, Peter? How are you? So in a Nuzlocke, if you find a shiny, you're able to use the shiny no matter what because they're so rare. That's pretty cool. Roundtable hold. thank you for a $5 super chat. And the Sure You Can. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay, folks, probably 10 more minutes and then we're going to get started. Sadly, it looks like attendance may be lower today. Yesterday we had over 400. Today we only have 280. How are we doing on Kick? On Kick we have currently 87. Yesterday we had over 100. All right, I'm going to wait till 12:30, but we're going to begin with gameplay at 12:30. Okay? That's exactly right. Rose Diamond says, I only play a game on the hardest difficulty if it's a type of game I'm already super familiar with. Right. If I already know the ins and outs of a certain game or franchise, I'm not going to try to play it from an introductory level unless it's a brand new installment of a sequel or a reboot or something like that. For me, it's tough because you always want to be giving the people the intended default experience if you're trying to fairly criticize and talk about a game. If I play a survival horror game on the hardest difficulty of the first run, my criticisms might not be legit because the reason that I'm having a criticism might be because the game's too tough, but I selected that difficulty. You see? So that's on me. That's not on the game. That was supposed to be an extra challenge for those who wanted it. And so if I say the game's too hard, that's on me for selecting hard. You see? So most of the time, when I play a video game the first time, I'm going to go with the default experience, whether medium or whatever the cursor's on when you first boot it. That's the way to go about it, or else you're kind of not being fair to said game. You know what I mean? Absolutely, Quantum. Quantum Daniel says, to be fair, it's not necessarily about playing a game well. Many streamers aren't great at games. It's more important to be entertaining. And do you think someone would be more entertaining when they are enjoying what they're doing because they understand it and they're making progress? Or if they're just beating their head against a brick wall like this, not knowing what the hell's going on, failing miserably and being miserable? What's more entertaining? You might say torture. If you like torture, go to a torture stream. They exist. Again, the Lao Cow stuff exists. You could go to a torture stream. You could see a walrus-looking man take off his fucking shirt in a public humiliation ritual. Okay? You could see a guy say the N-word a million times, then do a public punishment by drawing all over his body in permanent marker. These things exist. If you like public torture, go watch public torture. That's not what DSP Gaming is and never will be. Okay? Here we go. Okay. Okay, folks. Just a couple more minutes and we will begin with Resident Evil. Thank you so much again to the Random Act for another $20 super chat. They said, nothing is as it seems. The environmental storytelling elevates the experience. Have fun in the basement with the spookies. All right, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for all these super chats this morning. Can I do a stream where I'm a gleeful young 17-year-old skipping in the rain? Shucks, I missed out on that opportunity. I'm too old. Ah, if only I could turn back time, right? Lalafell says, would you be interested in streaming a choose-your-own-adventure book where you're reading it and chat picks what happens? I mean, that would be neat, but the problem with that is, okay, so for example, let's say we actually find one of these choose-your-own-adventure books from back in the day, and let's say we have full chat interaction. Probably people would be stupid and they would look it up and find the plot online and just pick the worst ending or pick something stupid instead of it legitimately being random. Like, I like the idea of it's so random that let's say we actually find one of these books and there's 3 options, and we do polling, and each time people vote, and we go with the vote. But the problem is human nature is to cheat and to spoil and to be stupid. So I guarantee you some idiot would look it up and spoil it for everyone, and then we'd pick the stupid choices. You know what I mean? If there was a way to genuinely do it legit and it was actually random, then I'd be interested in doing it. But I feel like people would just cheat and guide it in the wrong direction. People Person says, I just got here. I remember Resident Evil Remake. Oh, Resident Evil 2 Remake. Being one of your best playthroughs ever. It was on hardcore. You were really frustrated for a lot of it, but you loved it. Yeah, but it wasn't worth it. Like, here's the thing. Did that playthrough work? Yes, it did. Do you want to know why it worked? Because that was the best game that year. If it was any other game and I had played it like that, it would have failed. But it was legitimately the best game that year. So toughing through that insane, crazy challenge kind of was worth it. Do you understand? I'm not going to do that with 99% of games. And by the way, to this day, I still regret doing that because now there's no reason to ever go back to the game. If I had played Resident Evil 2 Remake first run as normal difficulty and did both sides, it would have done just as well as the playthrough did at the time, and I would have saved content for later where we could go back and play it again on the hardcore. And it would have been a more fun experience because I would have already known the basics of the game. You know what I mean? I would have liked it better. So I actually cheated myself out of an awesome second run playthrough that people would have enjoyed because I did it at first. So yeah, I do think it's stupid. I do think this whole, get good, measure the size of your ASCII code penis on the internet because you beat a single player game on a harder difficulty thing, it's dumb as fuck. I've always thought that too. I think it's really stupid that people actually judge skill level off of the difficulty level you picked in a single player game. That's idiotic, Now, there is an exception to that. If you purposefully pick the easiest difficulty and you coast through every game and there is no challenge and no actual overcoming of any kind of difficulty, then it's not entertaining, right? You want to see someone learn, struggle, overcome, persevere. That's the story of something entertaining, the drama of it, right? So no, I would never just play every game on easy, but at the very same time, I think it's equally stupid to play every game on hard. I do. Rabbit Doom says, if you played Remake 2 without ink ribbons, you wouldn't experience the best survival horror experience. Mara Kovar says, actually, I played Resident Evil 2 hardcore for the first time, too. I still regret it. Oh, wow. The Bomb says, on the PC version of Resident Evil 2 Remake, they redid it to have fixed camera angles like the original. Oh, that's interesting, actually. Would I play Arkham Knight on PC sometime this year? I don't know. Do you think, is there a desire for that? Is there a desire to see me play Arkham Knight again? I've only played it the once when it was new 11 years ago. So maybe someone would like to see me play it again. I don't know. Okay. Okay, are we good to go? All right, everyone, thank you for chilling. Thanks for a good morning show. Let's end it and let's actually get set up and begin with Resident Evil for today. Like I said, I want to get around 3 hours into Resident Evil Requiem today. I am hoping that we can get to an actual real segment starring Leon. We haven't yet, so maybe we will. I guess we'll see, all right? And thanks for watching. Chill environment. Thanks for the early support. I mean, it's awesome to get that level of support before we even booted the game. Thank you, guys. And I'll see you tomorrow. We'll do it all again because tomorrow, same deal, but we're going to have a morning show and Resident Evil in the morning. So I'll see you then.